Thus, on this very context, we are back with our webinar 5.0 on the topic Causes of Student Stress and its Effects on their Academic Happiness. I'm really grateful to our speaker for today, Mitakshara ma'am. Ma'am has completed her master's in psychology from the Delhi University. She has before this worked with an edutech, but also simultaneously worked with the National Disaster Management Authority as a COVID-19 psychological worker, giving counseling to people on call. So ma'am, we would be really glad if you could help enlighten us on this topic today.
Thank you so much, Raj, for the wonderful introduction. So I know I was told to start off speaking about it, but is it fine if I share a small PPT with you people so that it'll be better to have some kind of a structure?
That would really be great, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay. Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Today I'm here to talk about causes of student stress and its effect on their academic happiness. And I assume a lot of you are students here, but just as an icebreaker, let's start with a small activity. So here on the left grid, there are certain emojis, and on the right, there are feeling words. So I want each and every one of you to pick out one emoji and one word, and describe how you're feeling today. And if someone is fine, then please do share it with us by unmuting yourself, or you could also write it down on the chat, which I will read after whenever I have time. But I would also encourage people to share how they feel today. Anyone who's going to volunteer for this?
I would be glad to volunteer, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think, ma'am, I would choose Actually, I'm using a desktop, so emojis are not accessible to me. I may rather choose the word, and I would say okay. I'm a bit concerned plus worried at the same time.
Okay. Would you like to share one line on it, or it's fine if you are not comfortable?
No, of course, ma'am. I'm completely comfortable with it. Actually, I have a lot of things on my platter as of now, the academic commitments that I have, plus my internship, which is currently going on. So that adds to the whole point here.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Anyone else who would like to go? Okay. It's totally fine. You could always post it on the chat, which I would love to read. And for me, I would say the first emoji on the second row, as well as excited as my feeling word, because I'm really excited to be here with you all. I'll move on to the next slide on understanding stress. Just the basics. So as Mr. Rashik had already said, that stress is how our body reacts when there is a threat in our environment. So the threat doesn't always have to be a physical threat. It could also be something like an examination, how you perceive it as, okay, I need to pass in this exam. So that is also kind of a threat in your immediate surrounding. And the kind of reactions that you would get are categorized into behavioral, emotional, physical, cognitive, and social. And would anyone like to go and think about their stress and classify the reactions into one of these 5 categories? It's totally fine if you're not comfortable, but just let me know. So think about the time that you were stressed. Think about how your body reacted to it, and which one would that reaction, what would you classify it under? Behavioral, emotional, physical, cognitive, or social? Okay. Any takers here? All right. So I will just summarize few of the reactions. So when we're talking about behavioral, So there is a change in our activity level. Either we are too hyped up or we are just slumped down. There is a reduction in our efficiency, some bit of irritability, inability to rest, or change in our sleep, eating more of junk food. Emotional would be anger, guilt, sadness, denial, fear. Physical would again be, say, you do not feel like getting out of bed, or there is increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, upset stomach, nausea. Cognitive would be confusion, inability to concentrate or pay attention in class, or also slowness in your thoughts. And social would be, say, a kind of a withdrawal or isolation. You tend to move away from your friends because you're just so stressed, you're not able to participate in the group surroundings. You're not able to listen or share your feelings with them. There's a lot of blaming, whether you blame it on yourself or you blame it on someone else. It does affect a lot in your social groups. Now, not all stress is bad. That came as a surprise to me when I was reading about it back in my undergrad. There are two kinds of stress: eustress and distress. So think of stress as a continuum, where some level of stress is necessary for you to do some work. For example, if we never had any exams, if we did not have some kind of stress, then we'll never study. I will never study. I'll never go through my materials. However, when this stress becomes too much, it's overwhelming, then it leads to distress. So distress is the stress that is bad for you, that hampers your body. Now, I'm assuming a lot of you are students here. You could write your responses that I'm going to ask in the chats. And if anyone wants to share, please go ahead. That is causes of student stress. These are some things that I came up with. I will explain in a line or two. But anyone else who would like to chip in on what may be cause of your stress as a student right now?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, firstly is parental pressure and secondly is exam and education pressure.
Okay. Yes, thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Sorry. I'm sorry, was someone responding? Yes, you are.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, I think like all of them are, but it just depends on the person who are suffering what condition.
Right. Yes. And for you specifically, is there anything that resonates with you with regard to your stress?
I think with parental things are that like I'm a kind of very exploring person. I like to explore and experiment with things that I like to do. I would do for my career. But like parents are quite of precaution taking people. So they try to say, okay, don't do this. You should support better what we have always to do a successful thing. But that may not work for everyone. Right?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to take a would like to speak?
Ma'am, may I?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Ma'am, I feel that making a career or a competition, because nowadays competition has grown so much that students are under pressure. So according to me, it's making career and competition.
Okay. And yes, please go ahead.
Yes, like to focus and to grab different types of areas as we get distracted that we have to do this or achieve that thing, means we are not focused only on the one field. That's the main thing.
Yes, it's true. Okay, so I'll just explain each of the stresses because as someone pointed out. I'm so sorry, I'm not able, because I'm sharing the screen, I'm not able to see your names, but it's different for different people. This whole grade would not only help us understand our stress, but also the stress of others. So one is examination, which has been shared here as well. Next is parental and peer pressure, which is again, a lot of us, most of us face that. Making careers, because see, we are again starting our specialization from our undergrads. So we are always, where to get a job, how to make our careers, or if this is the right career for us or not. Then there is new environment. And this is specifically for those who have come to a hostel or have come to a college, school hostel or college. You leave behind your school friends, you come to a new environment, new uniforms, the teachers are freer. Most of us don't have uniforms. So yeah, it's a new environment you have to adjust to. Deadlines of tests and assignments, discrimination. Now, not all of us are equally privileged. Some of us come from well-off backgrounds, some not so well-off backgrounds, and we come from different class, caste, ethnicity, states, and trust me, there is a lot of discrimination going on in that aspects as well. Next is problems in relationships, whether it's with family, friends, or your romantic partner. Then there is lack of access or opportunity. This is again, lack of access comes with the fact that we are not all from the same privileged background. And this has been specifically brought about with the digital divide. When the classes moved online, lots of students did not have laptops or phones to attend those classes. So then there is poor housing. In college, even in schools, if you're going to a hostel, or sorry, you're not staying in a hostel, you tend to rent houses. You move out of your parents' house, you rent houses, which are really not that great. I mean, most of the houses, they are very poor in hygiene, very dirty. You also have to look after your own food, cleanliness, doing everything by your own. The need to be accepted. It goes hand in hand with the new environment because you're making new friends. You also need to be accepted into new social groups. But also, if you are part of colleges which have extracurricular activities, you need to be accepted into different teams, societies, and so on. Disparity, similar to discrimination and lack of access. Competition, as someone pointed out, there is a lot of unhealthy competition. Often it also leads to a lot of friction in friendships, not just with your peers, with your classmates, but also among your friends. Then confusions regarding your career, your life, everything else. Like everything is just being thrown at you. You're just there as an adult in the new world. And what do I do? What do I not do? And even if you're in school, even if you're not an adult, you still do have some kinds of confusions. Next is culture shock. A lot of people don't address this. Again, I said that this grade would also help you understand others' pressure better. But people who come from a different state to another one may not be able to adjust with the culture very easily. Because again, you're leaving behind everything that you have grown up with and then just suddenly settling in a new state. It happened to me. I am from Assam and I came to Delhi in class 11th. So it was a cultural shock for me. It took some time for me to adjust. Time management, again, I think we just throw it there. Time management is one of the causes, but it's the most difficult one to come around. How do you submit papers? How do you give exams, attend classes, and still try to make some time for your own self and to have fun? Because we all know that student life is the most fun time of our our whole lives. Next is poor sleeping and eating habits. The last one is more of a cycle, because when you are stressed, you're not able to sleep properly, you're not able to eat, you sometimes lose your appetite. So stress causes a lot of our poor sleeping and eating habits. But it's the other way around as well. The poor sleeping and eating habits would also lead to increased stress because your body didn't have much chance to recuperate. We will get onto this in our subsequent slides. But this is the overall gist of some of the reasons that I could think of. Anyone would like to put any comments or anything at this point? Okay, I'll move ahead. Also, in case something I say, you resonate or you don't agree with anything, I would share my email ID. Please get back to me. I would love to hear you out on today's presentation at any point. And you can also put it on the chat. Next is the effects of stress. This is the overall general effects of any stress, not just academics. So when you're stressed, your adrenal glands, this is like a part of your body, releases cortisol. And this is for those who are not from a biology or psychology background, because it took me a lot of time to understand in my undergrad as well. So cortisol is the stress hormone. It impacts the body in a way that it readies your body for a flight or fight response. So when you have a threatening surrounding, your body will get ready. If you notice your body's changes, your heartbeat will go up, you're more pumped up, your muscles will strengthen. So either you have to fight the situation or you have to take flight or run away from the situation. That is what cortisol does. It readies our body to fight the situation or take a flight, which is, again, you will need stronger strength to run away from, say, a threatening situation. But cortisol is actually good to some level because it has kept human beings alive for so long. When our ancestors, who were mostly hunters and gatherers, used to go for hunts, whenever an animal would be nearby, the cortisol would actually help them run away from them faster, because it prepares your body. So it has helped humans survive by, triggering your body and making you run faster, fight better, and so on. However, as we have all heard, too much of everything is bad. When you are exposed to cortisol or if you are exposed to stressful surrounding for a very long period of time, there will be too much cortisol in your body, and your immune system, because it flares up your immune system, it will get tired. I mean, continuous exposure to cortisol would lead to inflammation of your immune system, and it will impact your body. So specific to effects of students' stress on academics, I put it as medium term and long term. Short term, I assume, would be the immediate ones, like heartbeat and blood pressure rising up, or being pumped up. I would consider it as short term. But medium term, say you are exposed to stress for a month or two, then you notice that you have difficulty in concentrating in class. You don't know what the teacher is speaking, your mind is diverted, you have difficulty in paying attention because, again, as we say, our mind gets a little clouded. What happens is that we are unable to complete our task as a result of that, because your mind is clouded, you're not able to remember what was taught, you're not able to remember what was said in class, so you're not able to complete your assignments maybe, or even your works. Impact on motor abilities. This is something that I noticed, again, back in my student life. When there were long periods of stress, I wouldn't even be able to hold the pen properly, not able to write properly. My glasses would slip from my hand. So the motor abilities get impacted. You may feel dizzy, you may not be able to walk properly, and so on and so forth. Next is inability to engage in class. You feel tired all the time. So you're not able to engage in the debates and dialogues that goes on in the class. You're also not able to engage with your peer group. You're not able to contribute properly in the projects. So that is another impact. And lastly, confusion. Because again, your mind is fogged. You're not able to think clear. You're not able to perform anything. You're not able to remember things properly. So you do end up in a state of confusion. Now, long term, that is, if this stress keeps on going, without any remedy. Usually we have stress for a month for our exams, but after exams end, we have holidays to take rest. But suppose that doesn't happen. Suppose you are exposed to it throughout. Suppose, say, the whole semester was really stressful for you. So by the end of the semester, you would notice that your mental health is degrading. For mental disorder to occur, you also need the genetic vulnerability. There are certain issues. However, overall, your mental health will deteriorate. And if you do have a vulnerability, stress is one of the main reasons your mental disorders may trigger off. Then there is poor physical health. Because, again, your body is being exposed to cortisol all the time. So your body will stop fighting it. Your immune system will go down. Immune system going down would mean a lot of infections, inflammations, cold, cough, a lot of allergies, and even flu. Another long-term effects that we often don't talk about is dropouts and repeats. We usually, when we are stressed, we're not able to think, we're not able to give our exams properly. We may not perform well in our exams, which may make us repeat the same semester, repeat some papers the next semester. But we tend to hide it because we're so ashamed of it that, okay, we didn't do well, I failed. But that is not true. It's not you, it's the stress that, cause this impediment. So it again creates a cycle. And sometimes people even end up dropping out. Okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm dropping out of the course. Then there is loss of social groups because you're irritable all the time. You are so stressed, you're not able to engage in conversations. A lot of your friends may end up leaving you, specifically if they don't know why you're reacting this way, if you have not been able to communicate your feelings to them, especially in those circumstances. And then poor self-esteem, another cycle. If you're not able to perform academically, if you're losing out on friends, it will obviously impact your self-esteem. Am I not good enough? What am I doing wrong? Why am I like this? And that again would lead to lower performance because you already have low self-esteem. You may not say you have a re-exam. You may not be able to perform well. You will feel that, okay, I will never be good enough no matter what I do. So it's a cycle again. Let's talk about managing stress. At this point, I would like to stop sharing. Right. So at this point, was there any confusion or anything that you would like to talk about? Okay, now that I can see the chat. So Kirti Kumar has said that time management is a major cause of stress, especially during internship classes, etc. Definitely, because during our bachelor's specifically, we want to have lots of internships, but we also have classes, sometimes practicals, exams, assignments, and also friends saying, okay, let's just hang out. How do you manage time? And okay, yes. So if anyone has any question, please do write it down. Okay, we have a little bit more. Okay. Competition, examination, deadlines, and making a career. Yes, definitely. Parental and peer pressure. Okay, are you able to hear my voice? Because I just see that someone has posted, Ms. Ramsha has posted that my voice is not audible.
No, ma'am, you're completely audible.
Okay. I was worried that I had just completed my entire presentation and I couldn't see the chat. Making a career.
When we were saying about the reactions to stress,
yeah.
So you actually pointed out that there are varied reactions for the same thing. But the point is, like, when you were explaining it to me, so I realized that sometimes the reactions are not just limited to one of those. Is it like normal to have more than one type of reaction to the same stress? For example, I feel that I am more of a cognitive plus social reaction to my stress. So does that happen often?
Yes, definitely. Actually, it happens all the time. When I classified the responses, they were just for an idea. It will also help us tackle. But often it is more than one. It's a culmination. It's because, again, cognitively, you're not able to pay attention in class or engage in discussions. Then it will also impact your social groups and you also become irritable, which is behavioral. So it's usually a culmination of all those points. Is there any other question from anyone else?
Ma'am, there are a few questions in the chat box. One is from Sapna, and she asks that, ma'am, what to do for someone who is suffering from this and is not able to ask for help?
Okay, so I will complete the last aspect of my presentation, which is managing stress. And then we will see if I was able to answer it or not. So I think the most common things that you would hear is exercise, sleep, and healthy diet to manage stress. Now, exercise doesn't have to be extravagant. You don't have to join the gym for an hour. If you do not have any exercise in your daily schedule, just incorporate, say, 20 minutes, even if it is walking. What it does is it regulates your cortisol, it reduces it, and also releases endorphins, which is the happy hormone. So it not just makes your body healthy, but it also elevates your mood. Next is sleep. It's again a cycle. Stress would impede your sleep, and then again, because of lack of sleep, it will lead to a more stressful situation. But try to incorporate sleep in your schedule, where you are getting at least 6 to 8 hours, because your body needs to rejuvenate, your body needs to repair itself. Now, when I'm talking about all these, try not to put extravagant goals immediately. For example, if I'm saying exercise, don't go like, okay, I'll play a sport by this week for an hour. No, that's too much. Let's start with something smaller, making a small change. Or if you're sleeping at 3 a.m., as most of us students do, don't go like, okay, tomorrow I will sleep at 10 p.m. You may be able to accomplish this one day or 2 days at the most, but again, you will fall back to your old habits. So what you do is reduce it by 1 hour. If you're sleeping at 3 a.m., try to sleep at 2 a.m. After 2 weeks, try to sleep at 1 a.m. and so on. You're reversing your clock. Healthy diet. So healthy diet leads to better immune system. And so cortisol, as I said, suppresses the immune system. But if you're having healthy diets, it will again strengthen it. And what do you call a healthy diet? Anything that you eat at home. So it's a wrong concept that the West has given us, that we need to have certain things in our food to call it healthy diet. That is not true. Whatever you have grown up eating, whatever is cooked at home, even if you're staying outside, try to cook it yourself or hire someone to cook it for you, so that it's a home cooked meal, so that you don't eat a lot of processed food like Maggi or any noodles or pasta, which is 2-minute ready to eat ones. And you could also incorporate some kinds of nuts, fibers, and fruits. But these are all physiological. Going to the psychological aspect, you need a strong social support system. Now, it's very easy to say this because a lot of us are going through so much. Even if my friend is stressed, I'm not able to attend to them. But let's take out time for each other. You try to convey something to your friend also tries to talk to you about it, being good listeners. Social support system not only reduces the stress, it also protects you against a lot of mental health disorders, especially if it is a strong social support. I'm not talking about friends you cannot relate to or friends who you just hang out with but are not so close to. I'm talking about really close friends, maybe one, maybe two, that's enough. Or maybe your parents, your cousins, anyone, just identify them and try to communicate with them, as well as listen to them if they communicate to you, being there for each other. Next is structuring the day. This is important, very easy when I say it, very difficult to follow through. And I hope it helps to the question that was asked in the chat box. Structuring the day. It also helps with time management. One night before, you decide what tomorrow is going to be. It doesn't have to be minute by minute. Just decide 5 things you want to accomplish tomorrow. And then you try to tick box, try to make to-do lists, but do not have more than 5 things at the same time. And try with the very basic minimum. Even the fact that you have to cook food, that is also work. So try to incorporate all this in that 5 to-do list thing for each day. Try to make it one night before so that in the morning you are pumped up to just start instead of draining your energy thinking about the new to-do lists. Next. Okay, there are questions pouring in. I'll definitely take care of it. Next is journaling. Journaling is writing it down. Again, if you cannot confide in your friend, your cousin, no one, try to write it out in a diary. Do not type it out. I personally do not like typing it out because when you're writing things, you're also putting pressure on your pen. So it's a form of catharsis, form of releasing your stress. If you're hurt, then you put more pressure on the pen. If you're happy, you write faster because you're so excited, you want to pen it down. That is also a form of release. So try to write down your thoughts in a diary. Next is deep breathing. Deep breathing could be any form of meditation or just, breathing and breathe out maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day whenever you're stressed, like as break between 2 things. Say you're studying for half an hour, now you're stressed. Just take out like 5 to 10 minutes, do deep breathing, and then get back to your work. Next is visualization. Visualization, and the next one is walk in the nature, is kind of similar. Walk in the nature is where you go to a park or go among the trees and just sit there for some time, or just take a walk. It could also be under your exercise regime where you're taking a walk among your plants. Nature has this effect on us that really calms us down. And it's very hereditary in nature. Evolutionary in nature, because if you go back to our evolutionary past, we used to live among plants and trees, and then the cities came where there was a lot of deforestation. But our human body is very accustomed to nature. So if you're feeling really stressed, just go take a walk among trees if there's a park nearby, and just see how it rejuvenates you. And if you can't do that, then just try visualization. Take 5 to 10 minutes. You can put calming music in the background. Usually they are natural sounds like water flowing, a waterfall, birds chirping, or the wind whistling by. And try to visualize a scenery made of natural surroundings. It could be a boat on a water. It could be a forest. It could be anything that calms you from the nature. So that is also a kind of visualization. There are a lot of tutorials or guides on YouTube. If you want to go ahead, they usually have a voice directing you to what you want to visualize. And lastly is the 5 senses exercise. Before I take this, should I answer the question? Because I want to end the session with the 5 senses exercise. Five senses exercise is basically where you are feeling something from each of your senses and taking cognizance of it. We will practice this towards the end. Till then, I would like to take the questions. So there is one. Okay. Sometimes we question all our life choices, and this increases the stress level. At the age of 20, we should not be worried about so much. Okay. It's true. We do question a lot of our life choices because also we are introduced to so many things of the adult world. In school, we were still protected. But when we become adults, when we have responsibilities, some responsibilities, not all, we do question a lot of our choices. Why did I do this? Ruminating in the past. Why did I even do this? What was I thinking? It's okay to think about it. I know it's easier said than done. It increases the stress level. But say if you're questioning all your life choices, just write it down. Write down whatever you think you're questioning one by one and try to discuss it with someone you trust. It could be a parent, it could be a cousin, someone older. Try to go for someone older, but it's okay if you want to go and talk to your peers as well. And you can also debate it with yourself. I think one of the most important qualities we need to incorporate is self-forgiveness, self-compassion. Some choices that you made in your past, you need to forgive yourself for that and also see it as something that helped you grow as a person. Some things that are still impacting you. Suppose you have taken a study in your bachelor's, which you don't like. Why did I even choose this stream? I don't like it. It's okay. You can forgive yourself. You can start over again. Or if you want to complete the course, do complete the course and choose something else for masters. I know people who are 27, 28, 29, 30, who suddenly realize that I don't want to be an MBA graduate anymore. And they came to study psychology with me in my batch. There are people who were in a corporate job, left it to pursue PhD in JNU. So it's okay. You can still change your stream. And bachelors, honestly, no one really bothers much about your bachelors. That is, I'm sorry, but that is one thing that's true, which I've seen. Because in my master's in psychology, 50% of my classmates were not from psychology background. They were from commerce, they were from BA program, they were from sociology, political science, whatnot. So it's okay. With regard to other life choices, like choices in your friends or romantic partners, you were learning and you learned. There is nothing else you could do except learn from it and make better choices in the future. So you need to Forgive yourself. Next, yes, Sapna.
Yeah, I was in that, like, I misspelled one word in my question, which took it to some other way. As you said, for self forgiveness. So I was asking for one of my friends. He's like kind of, he has some situations in past, and as I know the things, I know that he is not wrong, but he kinds of keep himself blaming that it was his decision or something, and he is not able to move the things up, and he's always taking the things in his way. He was at the wrong place and wrong situation. So how can I help him? I was asking that because he don't allow. I even say him to, if you feel so just write the things and throw the paper. You can do this. You just don't share it to me or anyone if you don't want to. So he don't even do that. Like, I sometimes feel like he's holding himself in that wrong place.
Yes, you are very right. This happens a lot of times. Again, self-management technique can only help us to some extent. If it is too much out of your hands, if it is creating a lot of dysfunction in your life, I would still suggest to, ask him to talk to a professional like a psychologist or a counselor. Again, I think we need to make it clear that not everyone who has a mental disorder goes to a counselor. In fact, mental disorders are not really taken care of by counselors. Counselors deal with everyday stresses which go out of hand. How to decide if it is going out of hand is to see how your life is panning out. If he's not able to attend classes properly, sleep, his whole life is getting disrupted, that means it is going out of hand. That is how you see it. That is how you try to guide him towards a counselor, and also explain how it's not the same as having a mental disorder. If you can choose a better life for yourself, better mental health by visiting a counselor, you should just give it a go. Apart from that, I think a lot of the times it's in our head. So unless he talks it out with someone, maybe not you, but maybe someone he trusts, maybe cousins or siblings, unless they do it, it's very difficult to resolve it. I'll tell you why. One of my professors used to say this: you cannot view the water by being inside a tank. So if you're submerged in a tank, whoever has gone for swimming, if you're doing an underwater style, you can't see the water because everywhere around you is just blue. But if you're outside the pool, then you know, oh yeah, the pool has water. Same way, we cannot really question our own thoughts in a logical manner when we are inside our own thoughts, inside our own head. So we do need an external guide sometimes to do it. So try to encourage him to share with you or anyone, or if not, then just the professional help. Try to, just ask him to try out 3 sessions. Just try out 2-3 sessions with a counselor. If it does not help, then we will think of something else. Do not lose hope. Something like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so try to focus on different sectors or fields to grab the same for own betterment, which leads to destruction on a particular area. This was shared by Bhaswat. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Would you like to elaborate on it a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. Like as during our career or during our studies, if we get to know about different areas of which is for that related to the same, and we try to grab that yeah, I can also do that, or I am also want to do that. So in the same point, the thing particular thing which we are doing, that we lose, and we don't achieve anything in that as we get to destruct in the different areas. So
Okay.
how to remove that grabbing thing that yeah, okay, I will also do the same thing.
I'm not sure if I got your question right. So you feel like grabbing everything and end up not choosing things that are good for you? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, same.
Okay, feels to grab. Okay. Okay, yes. Yes, that is a huge issue where you're trying to grab every opportunity, but you don't know how to narrow it down, how to choose the one that is best for you. A lot of us struggle with that. And again, it's at this stage, it is kind of natural too, because we are still exploring about our career. We are still exploring about what we want to pursue. So we are just trying to grab every opportunity that comes our way, trying to better our CVs. But okay, this is a very practical, not a psychological thing that I'm saying. CV can only get you so far unless you are in the job. So, for example, I had like 8 internships by the time I completed my master's and lots of other extracurriculars. But when you're going for a job interview, no one will look beyond 3-4 internships, specifically if you have big names. Apart from that, it's all about work experience. So really, instead of, sorry? Okay. So Sheetal was saying something. Were you adding on to the discussion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so instead of, grabbing everything, you could try out all those things one at a time. It's okay. You can try out different internships to decide which one you enjoy doing. I took up a lot of internships just to decide the fact that yes, I want to be in a teaching job, or I want to be a counselor. I enjoy myself at a psychiatric ward. I did. So it's okay, but the way would be to disperse it, not take up everything at one go. Maybe one semester you do this, next semester holiday you do that, something like that. And again, having a lot of internships in your CV will still not help you. People won't look beyond the first 3-4. So yes, do work only if you want to explore. If you want to better your CV, again, it won't matter much. Was I able to answer, Hashwat?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, ma'am, please tell me how I manage study and job both. Shivali, would you like to elaborate on that? So, are you in a part-time job or a full-time and studying part-time? Okay, I think she's not here with us. So, how do you study and job both? So, I am trying to answer this by assuming that you are in a full-time course and also having a part-time job. It's very, very difficult. So what I try to do is that, say I get breaks between classes, I will try to complete some parts of my part-time job or internship during those. Like I will carry my laptop all the time. Whenever I have a little break, not the lunch break because you need to eat, but if I have any breaks between classes, I had a lot of content writing internships. So I would start typing, or I would do my research work at that time and then go back home and then type it out. So that's what I used to do. It's very difficult. I do acknowledge it because it's very difficult to balance. But yes, there is no short way, whatever works for you. But do try to take breaks, if not the entire weekend, at least a Sunday, because otherwise it will impact your health sometimes irreparably. Next, how to manage our emotional stress. Okay. Would you like to elaborate on it, Naumo? Am I pronouncing your name right? Okay. All right. So again, I'll assume here, emotional stress. Journaling is a good way because you are releasing your emotions, but still you do need at least 1 or 2 social support system. You do need to talk to someone because again, as I explained to Sapna, that unless you are outside of the water, you won't be able to see the water. Apart from that, deep breathing and the 5 senses exercises for immediate benefit only, not for long term. And if it is creating a lot of dysfunction, do consider talking to a counselor if possible. Okay. Okay, please share your contact. So I am sharing my email ID. Okay, I've shared my email ID in the chat box. Okay. Okay, how do we choose? What should we choose in our life? Do that thing that makes us happy. Do that thing that makes others happy, but not myself. Again, life is about yin and yang. If we choose that which makes us only us happy, it again will not be a satisfying life. After a few years, you would realize that it's just not fulfilling to just think about yourself. However, if you keep on thinking about others and giving so much of your energy to others, that is also not fulfilling. You are emptying yourself. And when you become an empty vessel, you will not be able to help others. So what I did back in those days was choose my friends very carefully. If I'm making them happy, I'm also ensuring that they are the friends I can rely on. You know, not just have friends who keep on taking away from you, just keep on taking and taking without giving anything back. It needs to be a balance. It needs to be mutual. If say career wise you want something, you want an HR role, but you also want to make an impact in people's life, try to look for NGOs where an HR admin would also incorporate, working on field a little bit or designing intervention, because NGOs usually are flexible in their workings. So yeah, trying to find a balance. Okay. If there is something, some act of any family which triggers the or even notice everything instead of just thinking about that particular instance. So how do you cope with it? How do you manage this? So if the family is one of your triggers, how do you manage it? This is a very, very, very difficult situation. And this is very common as well. A lot of our family members don't get us. So what we can do best in that situation is try to have social systems outside of the family, someone to confide in, but also journaling, writing your thoughts, and slowly and steadily trying to talk to your family, finding a middle way. Suppose they feel that mental health doesn't exist. You say, no, I am depressed. I can feel it. Please let me see a counselor. It's again, it's a dialogue. You try to convince them a little. They try to convince you a little. Try to find a middle ground. Try to tell them that it's okay. I know you don't believe in this, but let's just try it out. I think it'll help me in my academics. If you want me to do better in my academics, please just give me a chance. Please give me some money to attend 3 sessions. If it helps me, you will see the change yourself. Try to find a middle ground. It's very difficult. Again, I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my clients are not able to do this. And it is okay. It's not all on you. But yes, unless you find a middle ground, the situation will continue. And it's not to blame you for anything. It's just to say that some situations in life just needs to be balanced. It's again easier said than done. I my heart goes out to people in those situations, and I do understand. But yes, it's very difficult. Many times it's too much confusing what to choose, and in such a situation, we feel very low, very unhappy, under stress. If Ayushi is present, would you like to elaborate particularly what kind of situation you're talking about?
Ma'am, I have already asked that what to choose that makes us happy or that to choose that make
Okay.
other happy.
Okay. Was I able to answer, or do you want me to elaborate a little bit?
No, ma'am, your answer was satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I want to know when I'm alone, enjoy my own company, doing good, but when I'm at college or office, then I'm feeling nervous and become silent. Why? Okay. So Shivali, I hope she's here. Okay. So not all of us are extroverts. Not all of us like to mingle with people outside, and that is okay. If you enjoy your own company, that is okay. I mean, not okay. That is who you are. It's not something you need to change. So what I have seen is that the world is kind of biased towards extroverts. They need extroversion everywhere. Go to office, mingle with people, have teamwork. If you're an introvert, how do you do that, right? I would just like to say that try to talk to your team members. Try to tell them that this is who you are. If you can't talk, just write them. Sometimes if you don't feel like mingling with them, send them notes appreciating them. Just write down a post that, oh, thank you for doing this, or an email. That will also do. You don't have to communicate with them or gel up with them all the time. So like you are allowed to enjoy your own company, if I may say so. Any other questions that you have? I think we've reached the end of the question line in the chats. Okay, so we have about 6 minutes. Let's try to do the 5 senses activity. It might take a little bit of time. If you want to stay, please do so. Okay, so I want you to think or write down about the 5 senses, okay? You have your sight, your skin where you feel, you can hear, you can smell, and you can taste. Now, think of 5 things that you can see around you right now. If you're done, just let me know, okay? Okay, Megha has sent it on the chat. You could also write it down on the chat. Okay, next, think of 4 things that you can feel on your skin. 4 things. Take some time, close your eyes, think of 4 things. Let's do one thing. Let's write it down later. First, just think of it. We'll share it out later. Okay? So just close your eyes, think of 4 things that you can feel. Now, think of 3 things that you can hear right now. Close your eyes and concentrate. Think of 2 things that you can smell. And lastly, think of 1 thing that you can taste on your tongue. After you had undergone this, think of 1 feeling that has stayed with you, and I want you to write it down on the chat. Okay. Okay. Megha, would you like to elaborate on why you feel nervous?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. First of all, thank you for such an good time because this evening time, lot of us now due to lockdown and shutdowns are not able to roam, and it's a stress moment for like young age. Like I'm now 18, I have just completed my boards, and then I was shut down in a room. So thank you so much. Yes, I'm a bit nervous because first of all, today it was a very new topic with you because. Till in 18 years, I have never, nobody has come forward to talk about very major part of students' life, that is stress. So I was a bit nervous about if I'm investing time, then would it be good? And yes, then the second part being, I'm nervous because today I'm going to start my new course at 8 p.m. So I'm like going to meet new people. So I'm a little bit nervous. Will they accept me, or what are the things going to change, because the thing which I'm going to start today is ultimate aim of my life, and that has been very close. Finally, I was able to take a decision to take this course up after 5 years. I have been thinking to take this since ninth, and today is the starting day. So yes, I'm nervous for that reason.
Okay, that's a really good news, actually. Thank you for sharing with us and all the best. Also, congratulations. So, yeah, I hope it goes well. Now, I will just pick up the negative ones for now. Sheetal, could you elaborate on what made you feel bad? Okay. Bijay, what made you feel annoyance? Okay. Okay. Okay, Raj. So, what made you feel indifferent?
Ma'am, because of all this, while all the things which are going around have like started to make no sense, because you feel that sometimes you're too lost inside what's going in your head than to even give some time to think about what's going around you. And over, like, especially for me, because I struggle a lot with a bar that I have set up for myself, and that like I just always want to stay on it, but like, of course, I am a human, so naturally many a times I either cross it up or I either go down. So that keeps on a very constant struggle between me and myself, and that's why it hardly matters what goes around me. And this really makes me like, okay, I am losing a lot, like a sort of grip with my surroundings.
Okay. Okay, I can understand. So it must feel like you're trapped in your own mind. Am I getting it right?
Exactly, ma'am.
Okay. So have you tried writing it down or talking about it to someone?
That's exactly what the problem right now is, ma'am, because I am a writer. Like, I write a lot of legal op-ed stuffs. But as of today, I am suffering from a mental block, because, or a writer's block, as I term it out, because I have written over 3 lakh words in the last 8 or 9 months. And now, for since the past 2 months, I really have no inspiration to go about writing anything. And that's what has really toned down a lot on my like my feelings towards myself, like what am I doing right now. And the same has been the situation for the past 1 month. So I'm trying to cope up with things, but then again, you have a lot of academics going on, these online classes which really make no sense, and then we have a lot of other things as well in our personal life. So maybe that's the reason why I still feel a lot trapped down yet, and I'm trying to find ways where I could get out of it.
Okay. Okay. I am not sure if advising would be a good thing right now, but because it's not a session, like a personal session, I would just like to say that try to take a walk in the nature and try the five senses activity in nature, where you're just sitting in a park and, 5 things that you can see, 5 things you can feel, hear. You can Google it up. It's called five senses. I'll just type it up. Right. So what it does is it grounds you to reality, or it grounds you to your present surrounding. Specifically, if you're too much inside yourself, this exercise helps you to divert your mind to focus on your surroundings. So it tries to externalize it. Five senses exercise. Yeah, this is what it is called. Try to do it, especially in nature. It will really help you with your stress. But with regard to your writer's block, ideas may come, they may not come. It's a long drawn process, and writing 3 lakh words in 8-9 months is an amazing feat. But after maybe 9 months, your brain needs some time to recuperate. That is why maybe the writer's block. Our body and our mind responds to things that we are not even aware of. If your mind feels ki no, I am exhausted, it's okay. 1 month you're not able to write anything. It's totally fine. Maybe your brain is recovering And maybe it'll come with better, more creative ideas after it recovers. Let it take time, maybe 2-3 months. It's okay. Everyone has that. Even famous writers have writer's block. It's just our mind recuperating. So try not to be harsh on yourself. I know, easier said than done. Trust me on this. I know how it feels. But also try to change the way you perceive the writer's block rather than an obstacle. You could view it as something that is necessary for you to flourish or to become a better version of yourself, to write better after the writer's block is over. Okay, so I had 2 questions here. I am sorry. Okay, last question, bit personal. If some mental stress occurs to you, so being a counselor, do you face the same situation or is it more easy for you to cope with it? No, it's not easy for me to cope with it. That is why when I say I understand, see, even though I am a counselor, I am still a human being. And again, as I said, I cannot see my own thoughts when I'm so in them. I do need people to share it with. And almost all mental health counselors also have their own therapists because they also cannot do it on their own. No one can counsel themselves. The next one is, okay, last question. My parents are quarreling. It's a reason for my stress. I don't understand what should I do? It's again a stressful situation in the family. And I'm sorry, Shivali, you have to go through this. The best you could do is just remove yourself. First of all, I think a lot of us children might blame ourselves for if our parents quarrel. We haven't done anything. Maybe they're quarreling because of me. Try to move away from the situation. Try going out for a walk in the park. Try writing it down. Try to remove yourself. Try to remove yourself from the situation in the sense that try not to blame yourself for it. Try not to take responsibility for it. It's not you. It's them. You try to take yourself physically and mentally away. That is the best I can do I can say as of now, because this is a situation which is going to be around you all the time until you move out of your parents' house. And it's not something that we can change. So all I can help you understand is that you have to try and remove yourself, distance yourself away. It's a very difficult situation. I'm really sorry that you have to undergo this. And really thank you for sharing. I wish there was something we could do, but yeah, there's just some situations you can't change. You can just adapt. You can just protect yourself. Yes, Harshita?
Ma'am, you said that we should go away, means we should maintain a distance. If there will be a discrimination, like we are brother and sister, we have some discriminations that he can go somewhere, he can go for a park, he can roam here and there whenever he wants. But being a girl, I can't do this. So what should I do that time? Like as per said by that girl that she's in problem, same problem occurs in my home too, and we have some discrimination even because my brother is a boy. He can go and roam in the market or he can go anywhere when he wants, but same situation doesn't occur with me. If I want, it is a fixed time. Yeah, right now when there will be evening, you can't go out of the home. If it is a night, you can't go. You have to go with someone or the other. You can't cope up. You are a girl, you are this, you are that. That time what we should do?
Yeah, I totally agree. I would share a instance. Just a day or 2 days back, I asked my mother for a farewell party. Like we all 12 standard students are going to meet up and everything. So I have a cousin, my uncle's son. He is just a year younger than me. So I was made to study a class back so that we guys can study together. So as I asked my mother, can I go for the farewell, and even he is also coming, so there's nothing to it. So she said that the thing about him is different. Like, okay. So I said, oh, fine, he's a boy. And I just left. It felt like it really hurts when this is. And we are just our friends, classmates. We studied so years together, and they said we can't.
Okay. Yes, I am aware. Okay, so a lot of people on the chat also has agreed with this, and it is an extremely grave situation. I just want to say I'm really sorry that you have to go through such blatant discrimination from people who you think were supposed to be closest to you, your parents, your family. And it's very difficult to remove yourself from the situation physically. But also until the society changes, until patriarchy gets down, I don't think there's a lot of things we can do. But for your own mental health, you could start writing about it. You could start exercise. Again, see, the thing with this is, because I'm not from a family like that, I also have an elder brother who's 4 years older, but we got equal opportunity. So I can't say that I feel what you're going through. I can only imagine. And it's horrifying when I imagine. It's one of the culture shock I got when I came to Delhi. I'll be very honest with you. The blatant discrimination because of gender. Again, apart from journaling or trying to work hard and trying to move away from the home after you have reached a certain age, there's only so much we can do. I'm really sorry I will not be able to answer your question properly. But the only thing immediately that can be done is just removing yourself by your mind, by writing your thoughts, by practicing the 5 senses, by listening to music, diverting your mind. I'm just sorry. And yeah.
Ma'am, one more thing. May I?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, you said now 5 things. I often have patience. Means I keep on hearing whatever she says. Then I start crying. Even I get frustrated that time, but still I continue. No, nothing will happen. I will be positive. Whatever is going on, some or the other day, it will be in my favor. I always think I'm positive. I have this good habit that I never think negative. Means many people in this situation think, no, I'll do this, I'll do that. I never think of this. But at a time now, sometimes I feel like I should harm myself. But after that, I feel if I harm myself, it will not affect anyone. Because sometime or the other, again, I will be only getting why you did this, why you did that. So anything that can make my mental stress low, can you help me out with this?
Okay. So Harshita, Sapna, or Megha, have you considered talking to a counselor? Because again, it's not you, but because the situation around you will probably not change anytime soon, it's better if you have someone, a professional, to talk to you, to continuously give you a catharsis, a safe space to release your emotions. As for Harshita's question, I understand why you want to harm yourself. I do. I mean, but you're right. It will only be you with it. Probably no one is going to be affected by it. But also this is a reaction that we have to stress that we can't change, stresses that we can't change. On the other hand, it's okay to not be positive all the time, because too much positivity, again, is not something that I really agree with. You need to know that there are negatives in the world, and you need to accept the negatives. Not because it's a responsibility, but this is the only way you can protect yourself. Because you're in a situation where people who needs to be responsible are not. So you need to protect yourself. So it's okay if you have bad thoughts, but just write it out. Do not write it out on your skin, don't harm yourself. Don't let your body bear it. It's again easier said than done, but also try to talk to a counselor. It will really ease up a lot of your frustration, because this webinar, it's just short. don't take this webinar as something that will help you in the long run, because again, it's just ways I can give you, the methods I can give you. At the end of the day, a professional help will really go a long way. Also, do connect to me if you have any other queries. If you want me to connect to someone, I will love to take it up with you. Please do note my email ID.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, but as I said that I'm able to connect, it's because it's been 5 years I have been working with NGOs, and I'm a single girl child. I'm also privileged like you to have a family who is very supportive. I was able to feel because I have seen girls who have given their menstrual hygiene at a stake just because their parents says that their brother's book or pen are more important than their hygiene. So that in that context, I said it's not that my parents are not supportive. I was born and brought up in a very privileged family. My family, my parents understand, and there is no discrimination. Yet, what I believe is this discrimination is not limited to only girls, but there are also families who actually don't support anyone. And it's not because that is our fault, like Sapna and Harshita says, like parents are not bad. They are scared because they might have seen something like that, and that would have been a horrifying situation. I believe, yes, I understand there are different situations, but then the society, the culture in which we are brought up, the things we every day see in the news, to see like their child in that particular situation, what I believe is. So yeah, that I just wanted to give this statement.
Okay, I understand your point.
I would like to add on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right, Meena, you're very right. And I also feel the same, and that's why I don't really say these, at least this concept too much. But one really thing happened about a year ago, which really hurt me, was that I changed my school in my ninth standard, and I was really close to the people with whom I studied from CKG to 8th standard. The squad was like, I used to always say all around, like they are the bestest people I have, and they will be my best friends for all. So after that, in 10th and after 10th, like even we were in 11th, because the child and we say 11th is not that so important. So they guys used to plans to meet up, and I was the one, like, they know my parents won't take it too much, so they always used to come at my place and take me. They don't used to directly call me. So once they came for a movie, asking for a movie, we went, and after the movie, I came back. Okay, okay, fine, it was all done and set. Then they asked me to talk. So yes, we were set to talk. And then they told me, like, you, okay, you're fine with them, you're happy with them, but never think the people are right. I told them that we are the people with whom I'm studying from senior KG, and we all are like brothers and sisters, and they literally mean that we are brothers sisters to each other. So they say that you never think what they are having in their head, okay, what they are uttering in India. So it quite a, like, I really don't feel right. At least me, I don't know what they are. I know they are taking their own precaution, but do you think is it right with whom we are they're learning, doing every activity from childhood, and then after the like 8 to 9 years of togetherness, we have something between us, right? And then we say that we are not right people, and they start criticizing my male right things, and the squad is having, like, we are kind of 50-50 both the genders. So we are 6 to 7 girls, and the same is for boys. So whenever we meet, we all meet together. There are guys and girls. So when they say this to my guy friends, it was really not pleasant to hear. So then I started, like, taking some distance from my biggest friends, because in, like, hearing this kind of criticism to them every day won't be good. So I thought to keep some distance. So do you think like there is this concept was right or something?
Sapna, your voice was breaking in between, but
Uh,
I think I get the gist of it. Yes, Megha, thank you for adding it on. Yes, the situation outside is so unsafe that a lot of the times maybe our parents are not. And this is something that didn't occur to me again because, as I said, my parents are quite different in that aspect. Yes, they are concerned about my security, but yes. So, why I said about the situation at home is a lot of us can face it in different ways, the discrimination, or maybe for some parents they might be concerned about our safety. It's okay, but for some parents it could be just blatant discrimination, even in our among our friend circle. So I think the key here is to find the balance. If you feel that your parents feel unsafe because of the situation outside, maybe go with a group of friends, maybe go with your cousins, your I I would say male cousins or brother if they are fine with that, if you want to have fun, if you want to go out. But if it is a case of, just not allowing the woman to go out at all, that I would still consider as discrimination, which I feel is not your situation out here, as you have cleared it. So I think it's all about having a balance, trying to find a middle way out when it involves other people. And I hope someday we are able to do it. I mean, there's no short answer to that. It's just how the situation are, individual situations are. Yeah. So
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for helping us with a lot of things, especially what you told. I would surely take into consideration. And thanks a lot from me and my organization for taking out time and giving us this precious time of yours for solving other issues. And I pretty much think that everyone who participated in this webinar also shares the same views. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Again, thank you.
thank you so much for having me. It was really good joining you guys. I really didn't expect this much of a turnout. But yeah, thank you for having me.